Hello, ineffable being. How are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful, magical day. I want to tell you that you are a genius, you are special, you mean the world, and you are loved. Ineffable being, today is video 2 of the short 3-part series on the path of least resistance. Are you ready to get into it? Today we're going to talk about health, happiness, love, and emotional life, okay? That we're going to talk about our interior and how the path of least resistance, how our external world can also keep us from this. And with this series, I just saw before, hopping on here and recording this, it said something about our life is we're going to continue experiencing the same lessons until we learn. That is the synapses, that is the basis of living a life of least resistance, because it's about continuation. How long are we going to keep doing the same things that are and receive the same results? So that was just, something I like to share with y'all, a little synchronicity that I had here. But so on the first video, right, on the overview of path of least resistance, we saw that a lot of the times we know how to better eat, how to better manage our money, our time, our relationships, and ourselves, but oftentimes we are not doing these things. And whenever we're not doing these things, that's when we live a life of a lot of resistance. We are resisting to do the things that we know to do. And similarly to the quick quote I just saw before hopping on, whenever we continue to relive the same experience, we're going to do it until we learn. We're going to keep living and receiving the same result until we make a change. So what we discussed is why, right? Well, we got to know why we're living in this compulsive cycles, why we keep repeating the same things. Well, the first thing is we don't have a purpose. We don't have a reason to eat healthy, a reason to care for our happiness. If we get out of work and the idea is like, hey, well, let's all go, happy hour, and you have been feeling kind of long, tired, this week's been long, and you just say, yeah, you're not losing anything, right? Maybe a little bit of money, a little bit of time, but you say, yeah. Well, you're not following the most, lubricated, the most oiled route. You're taking the route with most resistance, because what you're going to be learning in this is to take care of yourself over others, right? Because you want to fit in, because you want to be part of the group. You're not listening to yourself, you're not listening to your emotions, and you're going to go down the route, and guess what? Next week, next month, you're going to keep repeating the same cycle until you realize, like, damn, I need to listen to myself. I need to listen to my body. And a lot of us, we take a hit of the joint, or we get an extra drink, or we play video games, or we do whatever we do. And I'm trying to mention some things that, they're not that harmful, right? Like playing video games, playing ball with your boys, and all these things, like, these are legal things. So just because things are legal doesn't mean they should be done. So purpose is very important. And what we also discussed, well, I'll just give you the 3 things quickly. Purpose. Stop overthinking, and emotional power, and conscious valor to commit to whatever. So that's the synopsis. That's the general idea of taking the path of least resistance. These are things that we need to apply. Again, it's building a purpose. Stop overthinking and decide to do the things that are logically correct to do versus the ones that are not. And the last one is emotional power and conscious valor to commit. Why? Because we know how to better eat, what things are going to make me happy versus what are not, what type of girls I want versus what I'm actually trying to go and manifest and have sex with. But why don't we do the things that we know? Why don't I go for the girl that will make me happy? Why don't I go home from work versus going out with the boys? Or why don't I go, why don't I save money versus spend money stupidly at a strip club or buying clothes? Why don't we do the things that we know to do? Because we don't have the emotional power, right? These neural circuits that are going to be created from these new experiences, they don't exist here. So what does that mean? My brain, my body, my psychology hasn't experienced this. So beyond that, the chemicals in response to every experience in our external world have not yet been experienced in my body. So it's something new. So then, this is why it's so easy to go out for the drink, to go have, sex with whoever. And sex with whoever isn't a bad thing. I mean, if that's you, then that's you. But the thing is, surely there's something that we want. Surely our spirit, our heart, our, higher consciousness would vote for not doing these actions. So the reason, again, we do them is because we don't know what they emotionally feel like. We don't know the end result of being healthy, of saving money, because we haven't experienced it. And we don't have the valor to consciously commit to ourselves, consciously to create the things that we want. So in terms of happiness, love, and emotional well-being, put yourself first, ineffable being. You got to put your body, your emotions, your energy first. I understand we live in a world where emotions are bottled up, where, especially if you're a man, men should not cry, right? Like, boys don't cry. We even have, I forgot the song, but it's a great song. Quite frankly, I love it. But for the females, big girls don't cry. That's an amazing song. But especially if you're looking at the corporate world, which I'm currently in as well, you got to be tough and you can't really think with your emotions and all these type of things. But ladies and gentlemen, your emotions give way to thought. So whatever thoughts you're having, they're in response to your emotion and vice versa. So the moment you better your emotional state, your thoughts are going to get better. If you want to do better at your job, if you want to be a better partner, be a better salesman, be a better communicator, elevate your emotions consciously, because then what? You're going to change your thoughts, because your thoughts are electrical signals in response to the chemical signals that your body is creating. So what happens when you change your chemical state? Your electrical state changes, your thoughts change. What happens when your thoughts change? Your decisions have to change. What happens when that happens? Once your decisions change, your actions change. And then you begin to live a new life, a better life, where you're working towards the success, towards the, I was about to say success in Spanish, towards the life that you want, towards the better relationship, health, happiness that you want. But you have to have an intimate relationship with yourself. And a big thing about point 3 of emotional power and conscious valor to commit is stop listening to the song that exists inside of you. Yeah, because the size of the neocortex, we think, wow, just because I have a thought, I think it's true. One of my greatest realizations along my journey is just because I have a thought doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But what happens? If I don't exist in my interior, there's two things that happen. One, I'm going to believe the thoughts that are in my interior. So in essence, I'm going to listen to this disc, this song, right? And the second thing is I'm going to be pulled apart, because the brain thinks in polarity, right? That's as far as the brain goes. You can see two routes. You can go right, left, or right, up, down. You don't really have too many options. So whenever you're living neutral, whenever you're living very limited, whenever you don't exist within, whenever you are not singing the songs that you want to sing in your interior, you're going to be broken down and you're going to be pulled apart, and you are not always going to make the most correct decisions. Why? Because it's your brain. Now, yes, the brain, all it is, it's an amazing instrument, and you can use it for a lot of great things. But the only way to result greatness from your brain is if you're using it. And remember that your brain takes 2 times more instructions from your heart than the heart takes from the brain. A lot of us think the brain is everything in the alpha and the omega, but it's not. The heart is 60 times electrically more powerful. The heart was the first organ to come into existence. The heart sends 2 times more instructions to the brain. So start living through your heart. Start coming into yourself. Start doing the things that you know are good for you. And we just can't have like a calm day. We can't go home after a long week and just rest. Look, I like bars and like movies and theaters and sport clubs or something like that. Whatever else, like those are acceptable places. There's nothing wrong with them. But the difference is do you know what your emotions are actually calling for? Are you in tune with your emotions? Or is your external reality creating your personality? Because for the person, after a long week who gets out of work and probably it's Friday afternoon and their thoughts are, yeah, I want to go home and just have a good meal and rest and watch Netflix. But you don't exist inside. So whenever you're all by your locker, you're in the parking lot and you're about to get, in your car and everybody's like, so what are we doing today? All this, your reality, your external reality, well, your brain is picking up all this. So what now? It doesn't have the ability to critically think in response to itself, because it's focused on the external world and all these different thoughts, all these different conversations. So now it's already thinking, well, maybe I should go hang out with them. Maybe I'm not so tired. Maybe it's cool if I go do this or go do B. So then what? Well, hey, let's go to happy hour because it's Ruby Tuesdays and it's Tuesday or it's Friday and there's happy hour. Or let's go to the club after work, you know what I'm saying? Acceptable things, not negative, or they're not positive. But is it the right time? Do you want to? Or are you doing this in response to your external environment? That is the path of least resistance when it comes to your emotional state, your happiness, your love, and your life. So take charge, build a purpose, stop overthinking, and create the emotions that you want powerfully, and have conscious valor to commit to the things that you want to do. Ineffable being, this has been video 2 of 3 of the series of how to live a path of least resistance. I hope you're enjoying it. Please put down in the comments if you are and if you are not. And also put down in the comments what topics or series even would you like for me to cover in the future. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe. I hope to see you on the side of light. Goodbye.